Are you ready to turn your potential into performance? If so, you're in the right place. This is the Coach Brew Show, and here's your host, John Brubaker.
The text message nobody ever wants to receive. Welcome to the Coach Brew Podcast, Performance Report, episode number 513. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/coachbrew. There's over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Kindle, Android, or MP3 player. That's audibletrial.com/coachbrew. The text message nobody ever wants to get was exactly what I got on Thursday when I stepped off the plane in BWI Airport to make my connection from Portland, Maine to Charlotte, North Carolina. I got a text from my late mentor's son, Tom. It said, "Safe flight, period. At the hospital now, ... Think mom has passed." Years ago, my coaching mentor, Randy, and his wife, Marilyn, retired and moved down to Charlotte, North Carolina, where their son, Tom, lives. Randy passed away in June of 2011, which is when I began writing my book, Seeds of Success, that's based on my time with him. So, Marilyn Mills, or Mama Mills as she's known to many, passed away a day after the late Reverend Billy Graham, who also called Charlotte, North Carolina home. I believe this to be no small coincidence and wanted to share all of this with you. I think there are a lot of things that we may, at the moment, think of as coincidence. That's really the universe sending us signs. Or as I like to say, there are no coincidences. It's just God's way of remaining anonymous. So the timing of everything I'm about to share with you surrounding this trip is just too coincidental to chalk it up to being coincidental. Now, what I didn't tell you when I opened the show was that I wasn't traveling to North Carolina to visit Tom and Marilyn. I was going to North Carolina for a meeting with a film company interested in partnering with me to produce Seeds of Success, the movie. More on that another time, though. That's another podcast episode. I believe I was called to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, not just for a meeting about the movie. You see, Tom's siblings are scattered about the East Coast. And Thursday, he was navigating the loss of his mother all alone. Coincidentally or not, just before I left for Charlotte, the film company called to tell me they needed to reschedule the meeting from Thursday to Sunday afternoon. So, think about this. After 2+ years of pitching my script to producers and agents in Hollywood, which is really the movie capital of the world, what are the odds that Charlotte, North Carolina, of all places, would be where I'd be led for this meeting? And what are the odds that I'd be traveling down there on that particular date? The late Billy Graham once said, "A coach will impact more lives in 1 year than an average person will in a lifetime." Now, at this point, as you're listening, you might be thinking, you might be wondering, what does all this have to do with me? And it's a fair question. The short version is it has everything to do with you on two fronts that I'm about to share with you. Number one, I don't believe Billy Graham's famous quote is limited to coaches or their spouses, for that matter. If you're in a leadership role of any kind, it also applies to you. Whether you're leading a classroom, a team, a corporation, nonprofit, or a family, for that matter, you too will impact more lives in 1 year than an average person will in a lifetime. You're not put on this earth to play small. You were put precisely where you are. No coincidence. You were put precisely where you are to impact lives for the better. If you're a leader of any kind, there's a spouse, a significant other, family member, friend, or staff member of some sort behind the scenes, quietly making sacrifices and working hard to help ensure your success. Because that's what Marylyn Mills did for Randy, my coaching mentor. And I think the message here is that you owe it to him to thank them now while you still have the opportunity. Question for you. How do you show appreciation for the person who's the glue on your team or in your family? And the second point is our time on earth is not unlimited. Life's short. Tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. So consider this. By the time you're done listening to this, you're closer to death than you were when you first started this podcast. Marilyn, or Mama, as everyone called her, lived in the present, and she was always at peace. I wish I were more like her in that regard, as I reflect on her life. Wish I had a fraction of the peace and the patience that she had. So, I got to reflecting. I was at the reception in the church basement on Saturday. I was able to listen to all her friends, family, and loved ones discuss what an amazing person she was. And she truly lived in the present. She wasn't worried about the future. She enjoyed today. And she made a difference wherever she was while she was there. I got to hear that from many members of her church family, as well as stories about her generosity, compassion, and faith. And that's her legacy. So much like in 2011 when I sat in the same church basement after Randy's funeral, this all led me to reflect on what I want my loved ones to say about me at my funeral. So today, on this podcast, I ask you to reflect on that same question. How do you want to be remembered as a leader? Do you want to be known as someone who's always worried about the future so much they missed out on the present? Or do you want your legacy to be that you impacted more lives in a year than an average person does in a lifetime? Now, if you want to watch my tribute speech that I gave at Mama Mill's funeral, you can head on over to my YouTube channel. Just click on the playlist that says Speaking, because Tom Mills is kind enough to record it during the service. I want to leave you with one last thing. If your parents are still alive, take a moment today to tell them you love them, because there will come a day when you want to and you won't have that opportunity. Thanks for tuning into the Coach Brew podcast. Look forward to bringing you some more insight, sharing a little bit more about my trip on the next episode. Until then, make it a great week.
Thanks for listening to the Coach Brew Show. If you're not currently subscribed to the podcast, sign up now on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. And for more information to turn your potential into performance, head on over to coachbrew.com now.